If you're like me and you work a lot with students who are learning how to improvise, you probably need to play piano for them a lot. And one of the best things that I have learned over the years of teaching is a bunch of different ways to accompany my students so that they can learn how to play jazz. So that means even if you're not a pianist, you have to build up some basic piano skills. And one of the best ways to do that is to learn some different styles. So I'm going to show you 9 ways to play the same chord progression in different styles. I'm going to use the following chords to demonstrate all these styles. C major, F major, B flat major, G major. Now, as we go along, I'm going to embellish some of those things by using both inversions and also adding 7th, 9th, and sometimes 13ths to the chords. So depending on your level of theory knowledge and jazz piano chord voicings, you can give or take whatever level of difficulty you want to these different exercises. The first one is what I call the Mozart. That one is very simple. You take the chord and arpeggiate it with the left hand. It definitely requires a little bit of piano technique, but hey, we're here to learn piano technique. The second one is what I call the Billy Joel. The third piano style is what I call the Journey. The fourth one is a great way to give a pop feel and get a cool bass line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play quarter notes in the right hand, and then I'm going to play a bass line that uses the octave and the fifth. So it's going to sound like this. The next one is a bossa nova. This one also requires some interdependent rhythmic skills. Depends on how good of a drummer you are. And I've demonstrated this in other videos, but the authentic way to play a bossa nova is by adding 7ths and or 9ths and playing the root and 5th with the following type of rhythm in the left hand. The next one is the Funkmaster. So you're going to basically be playing a drum groove. The left hand is the bass drum, the right hand is the snare drum, and you're going to go. Next we have a basic walking bass line. For the left hand, I'm going to use what I call a combination of the 1, 2, 3, 5 and the 8, 7, 6, 5 bass line. The right hand will simply play the chords using some syncopated rhythms. So to construct the bass line, if we have the C chord, 1, 2, 3, 5 would be this. And 8, 7, 6, 5, if it were a C7 chord, would be this. So you can alternate between 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 8, 7, 6, 5. You can also go up the octave. Right? So depending on the chord, you could do it like this. I'm going to invert the chords in the right hand. 8, 7, 6, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. 8, 7, 6, 5. 8, 7, 6, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. So you see I flipped around the order of the 1, 2, 3, 5 or the 8, 7, 6, 5 depending where I was in the scale. The Montuno. This is probably the hardest one out of all of them. You're going to definitely have to work on your rhythms, practice it with a metronome, but once you get it, you're going to sound like a pro, even though, just like me, you're not a real pianist. This one I like to use dominant 7th chords for, and the voicing is actually going to start with the dominant 7th sus. So if I'm going to use C7, F7, B flat 7, and G7, that's first inversion. However, I'm not going to play root, 3rd, 5th, 7th in the right hand. What I'm going to play is the 4th, and then the 7th and 9th in the right hand, and I'm going to resolve that 4th down to the third using this type of rhythm. Now in the left hand, I'm going to play the root, the fifth, and the root again, and then going like this. But the trick is you can only ever play on beat 1 once. You shouldn't play on beat 1, Johnny. My sister played on beat 1 once. Once. Then it's good to have a basic stock pattern that you can play for jazz waltz songs, such as Someday My Prince Will Come, or Up Jumped Spring, or Emily, so that you can accompany your students with a good grooving pattern and still plug in all of the chords that you know how to play. This one is also a little bit tricky. You have to have a really strong inner pulse for this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1. That's it. I hope you have found this video useful. Please hit the subscribe button if you liked it and tune in for more videos just like this one.